Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another stream with me, Ezek Hydra. We're going to be playing through Alontir today, the High Elf Mage. We're going to be doing a fresh playthrough. We won't be going through all the story and dialogue. We will be skipping those to focus on gameplay today, so there won't be too many spoilers. But we're going to be using this as a good opportunity to discuss the game for those of you that want to get a little bit of information regarding it and set your expectations as such. And if you've got any questions, of course, I want to see them over in the chat so we can have a good old chat. So let's crack on with the High Elf Mage. I think this is something like my 8th or 9th playthrough of this game now, and let's get started. And we, as I said, unfortunately we're going to skip the introduction just because, well, it's going to take this stream from 2 hours to probably about 3 hours if we go through all dialogue. So let's march on. You could call this somewhat of a speed run. Yo, Mojo, how's it going? You knew I'd be on yet. It's the other half's birthday today, Mojo. So basically, I've got to sort of divide my time. But she's having a bath, doing her nails, and making herself look pretty. So that gives me a couple of hours to do this. What's up, Do? What's up, Mavir? What's up, Mojo? Right, let's march on. Got some stuff to kill. Get rid of that. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Look at my wax on, wax off animation here. Going strong. Chaosbane, what's up, Tommy D? Good to see you, bud. Okay, I'm wondering if we can get this done in about an hour and a half. I don't think we need to actually do any dodging just yet, so we'll just we'll face tank for now. Left, right, left, right, left, right. It's a hard life. It's a hard life. Okay, and you have to close the tooltips before you can do the next thing here, which is it throws you if you're not expecting it, because you might think, okay, I should be able to go somewhere, right? No, not until you've closed the tooltip. It's a minor gripe. I think you should be able to walk through first, but I don't think you should have to manually close tooltips. Although I can perhaps see a little bit of reason, because it does force you to at least acknowledge the fact there has been a tooltip. Okay. You give and you get, absolutely. I hope the little one's doing well, Mojo. Hope the little one's doing good. Oh, that's right, we got this ability now. So now we have a ball that we can sort of swiggle around, and it can be my pet. I can walk over here, and I can bring my ball with me. If I click up... Oh, no. Ah! Let's just go. Let's just go. Right. So we're gonna be playing some billiards in this stream. It should be a little bit of fun. I really like the Mage just for the spacebar ability, which is really clever. I think it's so simple, but the fact that I can do this and then just sort of follow the mouse. But I could also just bounce it off the wall there, like this. I could bounce it off like that if I wanted to hit this guard. I can go like that. Oh, and go like that. Right, it's all clever. It's all clever, you know. It's just a fun mechanic. It's a fun mechanic. And I think we're going to be discussing in this stream a little bit why this game is fun. There's a lot of things that make it fun, I think. It's accumulation of lots and lots of small things that all add up to make this combat to make this game rather, just feel like a fun game. Which is good. But I think this game's also going to be a really interesting one to make videos on, because, at least for me, and you remember from Martyr that I like to discuss games as to, oh, they're trying to make a little nurgling pile here. You can slap me if you like. Only tickles a little bit. We like discussing Martyr. There's a lot to discuss with that game. This game, I think, is really Marmite. It's really Marmite. And very rarely have I seen a game where you have forum posts that say this is the best thing I've played and this is the worst thing I've played, and this is the best animation and this is the worst animation. Like I literally have people on my Discord saying that some of these are the worst animations I've ever seen, other people saying I like them, some saying the voice acting is absolutely terrible, others saying I like it or I love it even. Some saying, why would you play this Ode the Path of Exile? And others saying, why would you play Path of Exile in the first place? I mean, kind of welcome to ARPGs, really, but at the same time, there is a lot to discuss within this game. There is a lot to discuss. And I think that's what's going to make this game interesting to play as well. And it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting to see the impact of some of these design choices. So I think the voice acting is something I kind of want to touch on, because for me, and we're gonna look at some of the enemies' voice acting in this game. Oh, let's do a little pushback. Just trying to learn the buttons again because I've not bound them to any specific keys yet. Just mop up enemies with my right-click ability here. So the voice acting to me, the way I would describe it is it sounds amateur. Okay. Now, a lot of people would say a first impression, or a reasonable first impression of the voice acting within this game would be, oh, it sounds like they've just got anyone off of the street and asked them to pretend to be an Ungor. And I would agree with that. And then I would say in response, now, is that a good or a bad thing? And a lot of people would instantly jump on the boat, well, that's obviously a bad thing because it doesn't sound like an Ungor. Well, here's where I think things get a little bit more complex than that, because if you've played their previous titles, you will know that they like caricatures. Their previous introduction tutorial, if you played How to Survive, was basically like Borat. Some quirky Eastern European accent, and I'm sorry if it was meant to be something specific, but it was purely quirky. It was 100% quirk. It was not supposed to be realistic. It's fun. I have a feeling it's just whoever is in charge of voice acting for this game has just simply said, you know what? Let's do it so it sounds like you got a bunch of people sat around a table trying to pretend they're being these characters. Honestly, that's what I think. Honestly. That is my... And you could disagree and say, well, it sounds bad. And yeah, it does. It does sound bad, but I like it. And that's where I think it's probably intentional, but I could be wrong. This could be me just looking for a way to justify it. But I think that you will find others that share this view. Maybe not everyone. Maybe the vast majority will be, oh, well, a beastman doesn't sound like it's an actual real, like, edgelord beastman. So, therefore, I'm offended. Well, yes, that's true, but again, I think they're going for caricatures. Oh, take Teclis, for example, here.
There is grim news from the tower.
He's a little bit OTT. He's a little bit OTT, but it's not too bad. It's quite deep and purposeful. And as well as that, Teclis is a really good example. Because I've seen already within my streams, you get people come in and say, man, Teclis sound, he doesn't look right. That's not Teclis. It doesn't look like Teclis. And 20 seconds later, someone comes in and says, oh my god, that's Teclis from that looks like old school Teclis. And like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to making games for the Games Workshop franchise. You can make something absolutely model perfect, and because it wasn't the specific expectation of a certain player, they're going to go around the internet calling it shit. You know, welcome to making games for Games Workshop. This is why AAA developers don't want to go near us. It's a bad thing to do. We're hard people to please. But seriously, though, you have this sort of like Marmite effect of this game, of things being simultaneously really good and really bad at the same time. And I think that is a very interesting situation. Like, I'm seeing a lot of aggression toward the game because it has... I mean, it's clearly designed around console. Like, that, you can see that. I mean, for a start, I would say, of course it is, because it's on several different platforms. So what would you expect? Would you expect them to design it specifically for you on PC? Like, I'm sorry, you're one of 3 platforms they're making it for. Do you want them to specifically make a game for you and then make tweaks to adjust it for console? But what is even the problem of something being clearly designed for console? Okay, fine. The menu is lacking. There are no options here in graphics. Like, there's nothing. Is that because it was originally made for console? Or it was made with console in mind? Maybe. Is it because they've just not included it yet? Who knows? But I think there are elements missing, for sure. But I wouldn't say that just the fact that it has like a console-style controls down here is a bad thing. Like, the UI is made because you can have 4 people on the same screen. Ergo, it needs to be minimalistic. You can have 4 people on the same screen in PC. Why would you want the bottom third of your screen to show 6 buttons? I don't get that. Like, does it need to be any bigger than that? I don't think so. I don't think so. You're offended that they portray Chaos as the bad guys. I know, they're just misunderstood. They're just horrendously misunderstood. I just feel bad because Nurgle at the end of the day is just trying to give you gifts. It's just trying to give you a disease that will make you let go of your mortal suffering and pain. So the mere fact that they've made him out to be a bad guy, the mere fact that they've even given Nurgle a gender offends me. But on a serious note, like, it's interesting. Oh, wrong button. Oh, I have a breath ability now. I should actually pay attention to what I've unlocked. Now, there was a question coming up in the chat of what would, if I could change anything, what would I change to improve this? I think that one of the first things would be menu. I think there needs to be graphical options. There just needs to be for people on different PCs, because some people will have PCs that are worse than the consoles. You know? It's just... because of the variability of PC, and some people will want crazy frame rates, some people will have driver issues. Like, you need to have a variety of graphical options available. Some people will just simply have very old cards they're still trying to play games on, and you know, you need some graphical options. Or do you actually? That's a question. Yes, I think you do, but okay. Chaos are bad guys? What? I know. Chaos are they're just trying to do their thing. Like Nurgle's got good intentions. Nurgle has good intentions. I mean, in a way. In a way. I think that's one element. I think the itemization in the game, so we press the I button here and bring up the items. Now, me personally, I'm not offended when I look at this, and while we're here, actually, we'll start equipping some equipment. I know a lot of people are really, really unhappy with this. I don't hate it. There's a lot of quality of life stuff missing. Like, it would be nice to have a sort button up here that sorts it by... That's the question then. What do you even sort it by? Do you sort it by rarity? Because that might not be appropriate. Like, maybe once you get to end level, you can sort it by rarity, but then you could just sell by rarity. Like, once you get to end level, you're not going to want anything blue. That's silly. Do you need an item sort button to sort things by character level, maybe? Sort by character level, sort by filter by something. You can't have a filter up here because you don't want to hide things. You need them to still be there. I'm not exactly sure what needs to change with that. I know some people feel the icons are too big. I personally feel that they're fine. You can see what the item is. Could it be maybe 2/3 of that size and I'd still know? Maybe, but I don't know. Least favourite Chaos God. I don't actually have a poll feature set up for the stream. I think Tzeentch is the Chaos God that gets like the least showtime. I don't know if it's the worst Chaos God. Like, they're all different. That's the thing. Like, you can't really have a good and bad Chaos God because it's kind of like they're just different. It would be much simpler to discuss pizza toppings where things, you know, like sweet corn just clearly don't belong. I'm not sure if there's a Chaos God that just doesn't fit. I think they're all pretty well crafted. I think Slaanesh gets a lot of attention because of the, you know, because Slaanesh, really. Corn, well, blood for the blood god, it's quite the meme, isn't it? And then you've got Nurgle, who's basically just been like the poster boy for Chaos for a long time because, well, Games Workshop have just been all about Nurgle for the last year, and every game has been Nurgle orientated. That's, you know, Vermintide, Inquisitor Master, it's just all been lots and lots of Nurgle. Right, what's going on in the chat? Just kill a few of these and we'll have a good little read. Okay, move on. So, how are we all doing today, by the way? You're all having a good weekend, I hope. And what else shall we have a good old natter about? I think there is a little bit of a question for animations in this game, because on one side, I actually think if the game were to become more gritty, I hope you know what I mean by gritty. Like, I'd say most ARPGs are quite gritty. Even, like, Grim Dawn, I would say, is fairly gritty. I don't think that would actually suit this game. Because this game has, like, an arcade feel, I'm quite happy with arcade animations. Now, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my preference. But if I hold Alt here, like, that looks quite comic. It doesn't look necessarily serious. There's no sort of sinister undertones. Okay, I can fire a couple sideways. It's a little bit flashy and ninja-like. Do I have a problem with it? No, because I actually feel like it feels like an arcade ability, you know? Same with this. Feels like I'm playing an arcade game. I use the word arcade, and this is no insult, but to me it's all congruent with the game. The game is too easy. Well, it has 15 difficulties, so I don't know if that's a fair comment to make. I think the issue is that we just don't have access to the difficulty we need for the level we are. But yes, like if you go change difficulty here, like here's all the difficulties. Now it might be the case that even when you get to Chaos 5 or whatnot, that maybe it is still too easy. Maybe it's not a challenge. But I think it's fairly safe that most players will want to play on very hard if they're kind of used to a challenge. I think that's fairly safe to say. And at the moment, we only have hard. I guess you could also say, should the difficulties be shifted? So what is currently very easy is turned to easy, and should easy become normal or Vicky Verky? You know what I mean. I might be inclined to agree with that, actually, because I think the game's difficulties might need to be shifted just one step to make it a little bit more. But then that's from my personal view. Like, my personal view doesn't really matter. Okay, let's go. I think we can't be too surprised that comment got banned, Mr. Suck. You can't go talking about your genitalia inside a YouTube chat and not expect the chat moderator to just filter that one out. Yeah, there you go. When is Horned Rat coming to visit? Hopefully soon. That is a concern of this game too, actually. Like, okay, this game seems to be like it's going to be fairly boss-centric. The bosses are the best bit, without a shadow of a doubt. And I don't mean the mini-bosses, I mean the main bosses. They are absolutely awesome. Absolutely wicked. And chances are there will be 4 of them. We don't know this. I mean, there could maybe be 5 if you throw in a Beastman. There could maybe be 6 if you throw in a Chaos Warrior. I doubt that's going to happen. I think we would have heard about this if it was going to be a thing. So, will that be enough if the game's very boss-centric and there's 4? Like, you think to MMOs and doing raids and things like that, like 4 bosses is a fair bit. I don't know, though. I don't know. It would be nice if it was like... Because they feel kind of like heroic dungeon bosses. I think that's a fair place to put them. Maybe they're not quite raid bosses. Maybe they're more heroic dungeon. So maybe actually like somewhere between 5 and 10 would be a more comfortable number. And I think that's something for debate. It's going to be very interesting, though. Very interesting to see if this game has the staying power and what they're going to add to it in future. Like, this has got lots of opportunity for DLC. You could add a Skaven DLC very easily. You could add a Beastman DLC. You know, you could add a whole bunch of new things. Will that be, you know, something easy and quick to implement? No, probably not. Will there probably be cosmetic DLCs? Yes. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if you see other stuff like that. Will there be a 5th class? Maybe. Although I can't help but feel like games like this actually suit having 4 classes. I know there's loads of classes they can make. I just think these games suit the 4 archetype, sort of. Because metas revolve very quickly around... How would I phrase this? Metas will revolve around the characters you frequently see, and I think if you have too many characters, it will probably confuse things rather than help. I'm not sure. Maybe. Combat's still, yeah, not too challenging right now. I need a few more abilities to glitz it up a little bit. I think we can actually... There we go. We'll go round here. Zip, 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 zip. Zip, 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 zip. There we go. One of these. Open my box. I think I've probably got some items to equip as well. There we go. Pretty effective way to kill stuff just by hovering orbs over them. And could always use the pushback as well. So what else is Marmite with this game? I think visuals. Visuals are just generally quite Marmite. I mean... There is a little bit of an inconsistency, I think, with the grit of the levels and the lack of grit of the character. Is that intentional? Maybe. I'm not sure. Because you've got very bright, colourful abilities on very dark settings. But then this is one of 4 biomes, and this is the darkest. Well, to be fair, we've not seen the 4th, so that's hard to say for sure. But the snowy biome is a lot more colourful. The city, the ruined city, seems a little bit more easygoing as well.
You saved.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Okay. Yeah, Diablo 3, like, a lot of bosses, a lot of games only have, like, a limited amount. And that's true as well. Like, Diablo 3 launch day content was not huge. It was not huge. You had a campaign to play. A campaign that would take you, depending on the difficulty, it could take you 4 hours, it could take you, like, 40. Just kind of depended if you were going for a really big challenge or not. I think 40 is a huge exaggeration, by the way. I don't think that's true at all. But all you could do after that is rerun the areas, the story missions, which I don't think is worth doing in this game because each mission and map is not particularly hand-drawn. So, you know, you're in this kind of, like, biome. I don't think it's worth you repeating story because I don't think they've invested that much into it. I mean, there is a story, and the story is fine, but it's not a major... It's good to check it out, but it's not a major selling point of the game. The game's selling point, I'd say, is more just the combat. And yeah, then you had the Act 1, 2, 3, 4 bosses. You had the Butcher, you had the... Oh, let's have a think. Yeah, you had Diablo, you had the Butcher, you had the Lich King, you had the Siege Engine Doodah, you had the Spider... Is that it? I think that might be it. There might be another one in there I'm forgetting, but there wasn't a huge amount. So could this game survive with 4? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I don't think it's as empty as it sounds. And I think the problem is we're all comparing this game to ARPGs that have been out for a long time. Like Path of Exile did not launch with a whopping amount of content either. Diablo 3 did not launch with a whopping amount of content. I'm not sure about Grim Dawn. Wolcen you can't even bring into the conversation. Wolcen has, like, less content than this tech demo. Like, okay, and Wolcen is in, like, its alpha or beta at the moment. Like, Wolcen's nowhere near done, so we can't bring that in on the conversation. It looks really pretty, it's CryEngine, fine. If you want to say everything should be CryEngine, fine. But I don't think it's a good comparison for this game. Right. What is up? So we've got some questions coming on the chat. We'll bring up the skills in a moment and we'll try and go into those in a little bit of detail. I'm trying to read them while playing, but it doesn't really work that well for me. Let's have a little catch up here. You really enjoy the core gameplay and you're really looking forward to seeing what the game will be like full release. You'd personally like more weight to melee. I've seen a few people state that. I've seen a few more than that, so... Oh, there we go, nearly got hit. Now, for the Empire Soldier, like, okay, I will admit that the melee connection sounds don't sound too meaty, but I do think it's proportionate to the rest of the game. Like, even this ability here doesn't sound too weighted. I have a feeling it's because they're trying to build this in mind of co-op where you're going to have 4 people spamming these. And I can't help but feel that that's something to factor in. Like, sounds on their own, like if I just do one sound here, that's okay. But then if that was made deeper and more resonant, and then you had 4 people doing it all at once, you kind of got to factor that in.
You saved.
I do know what you mean, though, and the game does sound light. It does, definitely. I think it's currently congruent with how the game looks, feels, and handles. Could it be heavier, though? Yes, it probably could. I'm not sure, though, as it would still fit the game quite in the same way. Have I... Oh, I'm not even on the WASD keys. I'm getting confused because this game doesn't require you to be on the WASD keys. So it's 2 for flame, 1 for a pushback, 4 for a dash. I'm just trying to get my buttons ready. Oh, buttons, 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 buttons. But yeah, I do agree. If to make the comment that the game looks and feels quite light, yes. Yes, I would agree with that. Let's go south this way first. Yeah, Wilson is good looking, but like, you know, it's so little right now that you can't, I think, really compare it to other titles. Like, okay, you've been in open access or early access for like the last however long. Content is coming, but it's coming slow, like that, with nothing really on the direct horizon. To be fair, I'm out of the loop with the media, so there might be stuff coming. I don't know. I don't think we can make comparisons. This game's out in 2 months. They're also just totally different games. Like, totally different. Like this and Path of Exile. I tell you what is a good rule of thumb as well. I think this is a good rule of thumb. If you are a question... if you identify as a question... No. If you are the type of player... Or rather, if you have asked the question, I'm going to get to the point in the end, don't worry. Should I play this game instead of Path of Exile? Or if you phrased it specifically, because I've seen 10 people ask this, why should I play this game over Path of Exile? If you've asked that question, I don't think you should even bother looking at this game. Because you've already made a statement that you're happy with Path of Exile and you don't want something different. If you're not looking for something different, don't play something different, you know? That's kind of how I feel about this. Is kind of if you are unhappy with Path of Exile on some level, even if it's 10 or 20% of your brain, even if you love Path of Exile, but a little bit of your brain is saying, "Yeah, I'm not exactly as happy as I could be here." Yes, check it out. But like, this is not designed to be here to take you from Path of Exile and bring you into this game, you know? It's not here to go and grab your hand and say, "Oi, Path of Exile players, you're coming with me." Not at all. Not at all. This doesn't offer anything that Path of Exile offers. The build complexity is never going to be there. You'll never have a spreadsheet to plan your character. Can I go down there now, please? You're going to get stuck trying to exit the map. It's going to be glorious. It's brilliant, amazing. Okay, we're going to go all the way over here and then back again. We'll just go check on Magnus, see if he's doing okay. Oh, okay. Oh no, we can go closer. Hey. How's it going? Cool. Okay. Down here then. Let's try again. This is an ARPG aimed at fans of Warhammer. Yes. Oh. Is this a question? There we go. That's the first time that's happened. I think I didn't actually click on it properly with my mouse. I was trying to walk into it then, which is curious actually, because someone said before, like, why can you not just walk into these doors and it automatically does it? And my assumption was, well, you know, maybe you don't want to walk in by accident if there's like some loot that drops right here. I don't know. Maybe it's better to just walk through. Because the way you have to do it at the moment is to click directly on it, which asks for problems. But yeah, I would say as a rule of thumb, if you see anyone in the forums saying, "Why should I play this when I can play Victor Vran or Grim Dawn?" Like, okay, you're happy with that game. If you're not looking for something different, don't look for something different, you know? There's just this issue that ARPGs have where every game does something a little bit different, and everyone's kind of like generally picks their favourite of the ARPG titles and wants every other title to mimic the strengths of that game. And I think that applies to all of them. Like, PoE fans want PoE complexity from every other ARPG, otherwise it's not good enough. I don't know, I want something different. What I have seen consistently in the forums, though, is people that like this game generally didn't like PoE, so I think it's a really interesting divide. And I wouldn't be surprised... I'm going to change my skills in a second, because I haven't even learned which buttons are which. I'm actually looking at the bottom left to figure this out as I go. So, on that note, let's do this. Let's upgrade this. Let's get... do I even need this orb? I'll stick with the orb. I'll get rid of the breath. I'll get rid of the hail. Or should we keep hail? Should we keep hail? Yeah, we'll keep hail for now. Let's keep the hail. What's the damage on this anyway? Magic damage 135, 203, 223. That's not a lot of damage, but it does slow them. And it does energy drain them. So that's kind of cool. So we've got some of that equipped. We have blinding light. Okay. So we've got a few things here equipped. We have concentration there. Let's go back over to our inventory. Just see if we've got anything else to equip, which I'm sure we do, because I've barely touched the equipment thus far. But this game is just very, very different to those. It's kind of like Grim Dawn and this as apples to oranges. They're very, very different. This to any of those major sort of big titles, very, very different. And the problem is the differences are kind of hard to put your finger on, because there's so many small ones. Okay, so we've got one of those. We've got one of those. And we got one of these. Okay, so we can slow. And that's a pretty cool ability too. It's not particularly high damage. I'm saying that, it's not bad. It's not bad. I'm just trying to work out what my buttons do now. So we can push back and we can do a bit of this, a bit of that. Yep, make it rain. Make it rain. The slow's nice too, because it actually slows attack speed quite considerably. Okay, it's not the best sound effect in the world. It's pretty wet. Like it does actually sound more like rain than thunder. That's kind of okay though. I think if it sounded louder, combine that with all of the enemy sounds, and you'd have yourself probably a little bit of a sad time. Right, how are we doing in the chat? It's a hack and slash. What's not to like? Well, there you go, my friend. There you go. Burn the heretics? Absolutely, Chatman. Absolutely. Burn them all, or water on them gently and caress them with lightning. This is more of a caressing sound. I will give you that for this ability. It's very much a caressing sound. Make it rain. And I would say as well, like one thing I would comment on as almost feedback for this game to the developers is your progression through the levels is perhaps a little bit slower than preferable, because I feel like it takes a little bit long to unlock the first few abilities and fill up the taskbar, like compared to most games. Like most other titles people will have played, you kill one enemy with your first left click, you get another ability, or two enemies, or three enemies. You know, it's not a lot. It's not a lot. Oh dear, oh dear. I don't want to get fingered. Not yet. I'm not ready. I'm an elf. I'm very delicate. Oh. Oh. Hi. I found two. Num 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 num. Few more of these. Few more of these. Try not to get hit by that. And this is one thing that I really like in this game, and that is the quantity of these abilities. Num 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 num. Num 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 num. Okay, there we go. Slow him down. Slow him down. And push back. We'll slow him down on the approach. Nope. But there you go. I think in group play on max difficulty, I really hope all of these abilities are like one-hit KOs and that you just have to interrupt every single one of them. I think that's going to be the ideal game state for lots of players within this game. I think that's going to be an absolute blast. Anything useful down here? Hey, buds. How's it going? This guy's a healer, so you probably want to prioritize him. And you want to get out. Num 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 num. Anyone want a hug? Bye. Okay. Just mop these up and we'll have a quick check on the chats once more. Just make it rain on them. Come on. There we go. There we go. Now we can have a quick check on our god skills as well, because I think we've probably got to the point where we can get some of these. Finished the boss fight as a soldier last night. Just started the mage. Loving mage. Yeah, I think mage has interesting mechanics, although I'd say if you're playing at a difficulty with a soldier that the interrupt becomes the core mechanic for the game, I think it's really, really good class. Like, even just the one feature of that damn character pressing the spacebar when an enemy is about to attack, you could be absolutely integral, a good soldier to a party run. I think that is so good. I'm going to go for Aether Blast because I think it's a cool ability. And Aether Blast Superior I think is cool too. Oh, I don't have any favour. Well, I suck. Okay. Is the Dwarf Way watching the beta? Not yet. Not yet, my friend. They'll be in the next one. They'll be in the next one. They're receiving some finishing touches at the moment. But we've seen the dwarf. We've seen the dwarf, so we know what the dwarf looks like. And the dwarf actually looks kind of cool, I will admit. We have no idea what the Way Watcher's like. I'm just overall excited to play this, but I do also... I'm giving myself the expectation that this game will not last as long as some other titles, most likely. That's just my honest expectation. Like, the setup they've gone for, I think, will lean very well towards, like, a month or two of... Can you even go up through here? Oh, that's a shame. Having multiple directions you could go from a map, making them a little less linear would be kind of cool. Although, obviously, we're kind of on a quest right now, trying to find a Chaos Camp. But having a choice of direction and A-B route would be nice. Okay. Bit more of this, bit more of that. Bit more of this. Zap, zap, zap with my wet rain. Cheeky pushback, cheeky pushback. There we go. Hopefully this skill does some more things when I've upgraded it, because it's pretty wet. Doesn't make me feel like an elf. Zap, 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 zap. Just very limp. It's like a sort of wet noodle version of lightning. Kind of cool textures, though. I like the animation, sorry, or effects. Ah. So not having the ability to stun on this. Actually, I do have a stun, don't I? Yeah, I think I do. I've got a pushback, which kind of does the same thing. Let's finish you first. Finish you second. Zap, 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 zap. There we go. Little check on gear while we have a look at the chat. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the chances of it getting the same attention of Diablo, like, Diablo had 100 people working on it, even as it was closing down. Like, that's dramatically larger than the studio working on this game when it's being, you know, put into production. So, yeah, there's absolutely no chance that this is going to have the same, at least financial investment. But will it get attention? I think all of the games from this developer previously have had DLC added to them. Generally speaking, I don't think that it's absolutely huge DLC, but I really hope that they add to this rather than jumping straight to Game 2. That's one of my hopes. That I think this game is a really good foundation, and I would rather them... Even if they've got some great vision on what they could do with a second title. Because stuff like that's going to be, you know, something that, at least on a management side of things, they're going to be thinking about in the near future. Like, okay, we'll give it a few months of DLC, then we need to make the call. Are we going to work on the next title, or are we going to just make DLC for this? And I would really hope that it gets some good support following launch. Not just hats and, you know, the usual garbage that we get in ARPGs. Okay. Yeah, there'll be free updates. Yes, Johnny. There'll be free updates, but a free update could mean that you get a hat, you know? That's the thing. That's the thing. You know what? I would love to do a survey. Just a little survey. I don't know where to distribute it, just to see that if the average player that likes this game is someone that doesn't like the current available choices for ARPGs, because that is the honest impression I get. That I think most people that are happy with this game are unhappy with Grim Dawn, or unhappy with Diablo, or unhappy with Path of Exile, at least on some level. Because I think that's where I see the majority of complaints come from. The people that, you know, would just rather be playing one of those titles. I think specifically if you dislike those titles, then you're probably going to be someone that's pretty happy with this. I might be wrong, but... Oh, I let myself get hit like a complete noob. Come on, time to get pushed back. There we go, there's that interrupt. Beautiful, beautiful. I think actually a controller might be quite well suited to this the more I think about it. Having the option to point one direction while clicking the other is... It really made Diablo 3 actually quite easy to play. On controller, that is. Really felt well suited to controller, actually. I'll say to the point where it felt like a completely different experience. Okay, let's hover that over my body for a sec. Warhammer Fantasy is huge. Yeah. Yep. I mean, there is room for expansion for this for sure. Like, even if they include the Norse tribes. Obviously, it needs to be factored into story because this is during a time of a chaos invasion, you know. But this is also a time where there is basically a blank period of history. Like, there's a 100-year gap, more or less, that they're just raining on and saying, you know what, we're going to put some story in here. So maybe it could be a Beastman horde. Like, there's plenty of Beastman types to have an ARPG enemy. Vampires, probably not suited, probably not, like, canon appropriate. Skaven, maybe, but I don't know if it's going to fit into the times as such with canon, but maybe. Maybe they could come in, like, last minute and, you know, be a pain in the butt.
I smell
There we go,
flesh.
there we go.
Kill the unbeliever!
Right. Now, this is what I want you guys to think, guys. This is where I come to the decision that for me the voice acting sounds like one of your mates trying to be a beastman. Just listen to this line and tell me if this sounds like a beastman or someone in the pub doing a beastman impression. No, never mind, that was his only line. Oh, for the love of God. Okay, I think there'll be another line very soon. We will reevaluate once we've killed him. He's specifically mocking me. I thought he had a whole dialogue there. I thought he had a monologue. Villains without monologues. Whatever next. Oh, that rain ability. It's going to be the end of me. That's it. I'll just do this instead. Pathing of that ability is a little bit off. Oh, I'm actually full on items. How about that? Oh, hey! Okay, we'll use the ball. Killing all the stuff. Killing all the stuff. Not particularly creative just using this. Like, pretty dull, but it gets the job done. Okay. A bit of a pew-pew up there. Oh, that's the boss. Okay, well, we'll save him. We'll save him, I feel bad if I kill him first. Aha! I've unlocked a shield. There we go. Hover that there. I actually think that this is more damage. Yeah, it is. Damn. I've been lied to you. Okay, let's try again.
Nurgle rot, you elf! May the Lord of Pestilence turn your guts to slime!
Like, seriously, who here... I don't know, does anyone actually think that that is supposed to sound like a beastman? It doesn't. But honestly, my interpretation is that it's not supposed to sound like a beastman. You know? That is my honest view of this, is I think that it's just simply the sound engineer or the director or the developer or whoever organises the damn audio side of things is like, you know what, that's going to sound pretty cool if we do it like this. It does not sound like a beastman. It sounds like a teenager pretending to be a beastman.
Your twisted god cannot save you, beastman. Now stop your bleating, or I'll show you the true meaning of pain.
Once more. Ah, now, god damn it, beastman. But that's the thing. Justin just saying it needs more bass. It would need more bass if they want it to sound like a beastman, but that's my point. I don't think they do. I think it's so obviously not like a beastman that it is a role player's interpretation of a beastman.
I have a prisoner for you.
Leave him.
Okay, let's move out here. And I think if you played their previous games, you would probably be more inclined to be like, oh yeah, okay, that's what they're doing, because they go for weird accents, they go for weird voices, they don't go for like immersion into like a believable story and setting with accents. They go for ridiculous OTT Monty Python style. Like, maybe that's a better way of putting it. The voice acting in this is more Monty Python than anything else. That is the best way I can put it. Does anyone agree with that? We've got Monty Python style beastmen within this game. Maybe it's just me, but at least I think that's the best way I can describe it. They're a bit ridiculous and it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, and it sounds like someone's trying to have a go at an impression of one, but I mean, for me, when I view it like that, I think it's kind of funny and quirky. It doesn't offend me that it doesn't sound like a beastman, you know? And I think that's a problem the game has, and I think it might be me just kind of looking for a defense for it. But I think that's what's happening. I think that's what's happening. It's hilarious. Yeah, Johnny's saying it's hilarious. Absolutely. I mean, that's how I view it anyway. And I think people that are like, oh, it doesn't sound like a beastman, are just kind of like, you're not getting it. You're not seeing it. Like, maybe it's the game's fault still for not doing it well enough, you know? Maybe it's not silly enough. They should be speaking Dark Tongue. Well, yeah, they should, but who wants to watch subtitles? Yeah, exactly, but meh, you know? Let's maybe not use 10 different languages in a game for the sake of lore immersion. Confirm trade nons. There we go. Do a few of these. I'll just get rid of a bunch. I'm not even looking to see if they're better, because I like to live on the edge. Confirm trade. There we go. Hey, Tome of Wisdom. Oh, and guess what we're going to do now, guys? Guess what we're going to do now? We're going to break the game. Going to break the game because we have a passive that gives us... Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? No! That's not it. Experience gain, 10%. There you go, the game is broken. The reason I say that somewhat tongue-in-cheek and sarcastically is when you order the super version of the game, you get one of these. Like, you get an equipable, optional experience bonus. You don't have to use it. If you do use it, you can't use something else. Obviously, I don't know exactly how many points their one's going to cost to use. It might be free. It might be free. But as soon as someone gets to, like, level 10, they're going to have one equipped anyway. So at that point, is the game broken? I admit that it's a weird piece of marketing, and I think that they should have seen it coming, that people were going to raise eyebrows and be like, what? What? Like, why are you putting an experience bonus in this game? It doesn't make a lot of sense. It leaves a bad taste in the mouth. I'm fine with all of that. I agree with all of that. It does not break or destroy the game, though. It does not kill anything, and, you know, we're not all going to die as a result of it. Why can I... Ah! I needed to do that one. Feels bad, man. There we go. Got our first god ability, Ether Blast. And we're going to work over to that. I think 95% maximum energy. And armor, health, 10% armor. I mean, that's a bit rubbish. Damage taken is reduced while static. That's kind of cool. I'll go with that. Let's get our god ability equipped. Skills, we'll go with... Where's our god skill? Aether Blast. We'll do that as number 2. There we go. Passive skills, we've got 2 of them equipped. Do we have anything else unlocked here? No, got that upgraded. Ah, Superior Etheric Orb. Glorious. And we'll go for a main quest. Carry on here, but there is a vendor. Yes, there is a vendor.
What is the meaning of this?
Yes. God damn it, I skipped it by accident. Okay, we'll go back after we've killed him. Okay, so we'll do that, and we'll move that to there. That's a nice... Look at that, Daka. Eek! Eek! Okay, nearly.
Knowledge is power.
There we go, that's that guy dead. I think that's him dead anyway. Yep, and he takes 2 to blow him up. Right. Let's rain on their parade. Get out of it. Get out of it. It's my town. Hang on. I need to kill the apostle back here. Stop healing, you douche. Stop healing. I love the fact that there's healers, though.
Knowledge is power.
Such cool ability. It's a nice sort of grenade explosion. Does a huge amount of damage, too. Okay. Let's carry on. Yes, Johnny. Yes, absolutely. That's what I've been saying for a long time. This game is aimed at people that liked the console version of Baldur's Gate. I also think it's aimed at people that enjoyed Gauntlet and those style of games, you know, where you jump in and you have a little bit of arcade fun. Although they've added a lot of roleplay elements on top. That's why I still maintain that this is one of those games which has had more RPG added to it, rather than an ARPG that's had other stuff added. But, you know, that's just a slightly different visualization of it. But at its core, I think this game is not really Diablo. And it's only because of, like, 100 little things. But those 100 little things really add up. And, you know what? I might even be able to do a video of, like, 20 reasons why this is not Diablo. And that's not even a bad thing. But if I try and think of some now, which I think I can. Okay, first one. I'll try and rattle them off. First one, your characters are predefined. They're named characters. They have set stories. You are not an unknown adventurer. You are a bro. You're a hero. Exactly. You know, you're a good character. You're a strong character. You have a name. You have a history. And some are looking for redemption, etc., etc., etc. But you have a story behind your character and a name. Number 2, I think the combat has less of an emphasis on elites to dodge and more emphasis on just lots of dodging in general. Whereas Diablo is a little bit more kill trash, kill trash, kill trash. Oh, an elite, now I have to do something different. I think this has maybe a little bit more variety in things to dodge. That isn't just on elite abilities. That might be a woolly way of saying it, but I would be hopeful that others would agree. I think there is also a larger emphasis on utility within this game. A larger emphasis of utility in the form of pushbacks, stuns, interrupts in particular. So much can be interrupted in this game. Whereas in Diablo 3, for example, you would get to the point where you can't stun elites. I don't think that's going to happen in this game because this game's mechanics revolves almost around interrupting to a certain degree. You don't have to, but I think interrupting and interacting with combat in that way is a huge part of this game. Like using spacebar to do this, absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. But the soldier's interruptibility, absolutely key to the character. That's also another thing. Ultimates per character class. Like your character is not only named as a character, but you also have archetypal abilities tied to your character. I think that actually counts for a lot, having an ultimate ability. It feeds into this kind of like trash wiping sort of game where you get to unload something really cool to help you in a sticky situation every now and again. I say there's also a huge emphasis on class synergy within this game. There is not so much of an emphasis in Diablo. Like, Diablo's meta really comes down to, I'm going to do as much damage as I can. Screw the rest of you. That is Diablo, you know? Okay, you've made a couple of friends. What you'll do instead is you'll say, right, our new meta is going to be, we're going to do as much damage as we can, and you're going to be the 0 DPS character that tries to keep everything still while we damage it as much as we can. That won't be the aim of this game. This game maybe, but I would think, from what I can tell, that utility is going to be a huge portion of it. I think every character is going to be able to contribute a good bit of damage and mix in a good bit of utility. while doing so. And I think that would be a way, having just explained that I'd rephrase it, that this mixes damage and utility. You don't necessarily sacrifice damage for utility in this game. Hope that makes a little bit of sense. There are just, as you upgrade moves, they get more utility. They get more complex. Diablo, the best CC is death. Exactly, Dennis. That is exactly true. Like, it is just kill stuff quicker. That is your solution to most things. Move faster, blink more often, and kill stuff quicker. You know, that is kind of D3, and that's not the worst thing in the world. Like, it leads to a gameplay style that is, you know, it is what it is, and some people love it, and that's fine. That's cool. That's cool. But this is why I feel that this is a little bit more arcade-like. Let's shoot a few fireballs down there.
Knowledge is power.
Nearly, oh, you can't actually blow yourself up with that, but I kind of aimed it toward myself. There we go, there we go. But there's lots of ways you can reduce party damage, increase X, Y, Z, make enemies vulnerable. Lots of different things you can do. Hey, how's it going?
Knowledge is power.
Lols, 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 lols. A little cheeky pushback. Okay, let's kill us a Chaosbane. Cheeky pushback, confirmed. I love the fireballs too. I think the flame effects as a whole are just, oh, glorious. Looking forward to seeing the next 2 tiers of loot as well, to see if they really sort of feature into this or not. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. A little bit of a emphasis on loot in this game, but I think it's a bit premature to state how much this game emphasises loot when we're missing, like, the main mechanism to customise weapons. Like, we don't really know. We're also missing a load of weapon tiers and such, so we don't really know. Are they going to have armor repair? It doesn't look like it. Yeah. Yeah, the balls that can be redirected are epic. Like, the fact that I can shoot that out there, like, and do that, crazy. You know, that is just so cool. This to me says that I'm a developer that wants my player to be creative with this game. And that I think is a really cool thing to encourage. You know, get players thinking, oh, what can I do to, well, just have more fun, basically. And I think there's a lot of ways in this game that you can do that. Will it be limitless fun? Probably not. Will it be fun at all times? Probably not. Will there be bugs? Probably.
I have not.
Okay.
What?
Sorry, Techless, I'm busy. Sorry, I'm busy, bro. Right, let's continue. Immersion question. How does the summon lightning in the sewer? Oh, well, presumably there's like a tiny little cloud about 12 foot up in the air that the lightning comes out of, and it follows him around, a bit like in Mario. Definitely. Yep, some people not a fan of Diablo 3. That's fair.
Trap, Lord Elontier.
Have you?
Okay, we'll skip this. That's like your stereotype witch hunter voice. Yeah, he's probably a bit more
Knowledge is power.
edgelord, a bit more try-hard than the others. I think that's a fairly safe thing to say. Let's continue. Hope each class has unique mechanic like the ones of Mage. The Slayer's mechanic. What was the Slayer's? Because I think we've heard. I'm not exactly sure. I think the cool thing about the Slayer is the fact that his equipment also includes his beard. I think that is just brilliant. You can equip different tattoos and beards, and they come with stats. You know, like that's just cool. It's just a nice little bit of silly creativity that I think is brilliant. But if you've heard the voice acting from the Slayer, I think you've heard the type of voice acting this game goes for, you know. He sounds like one of the hairy bikers. If you're from the UK, he's got like a little bit of a Geordie vibe going on. It's just really different to, I think, what many would expect.
Knowledge is power.
Such a cool skill, that. Such a cool skill. Right. No! Come on, Alontir. We've got work to do. Oh, sending them fireballs down here. Curve it round the side. There you go. Oh, it's so good. Oh. I'm watching my fireballs go around and not actually looking at anything else. Right, let's try and bounce a few off of here. If I rain on you a little bit. No! Okay, never mind. Never mind. My snooker game is not on point, it would seem. Okay, I might go melee soon as well once I've unlocked that. We'll go melee mage. We'll move this around. It's pretty cool as well. Does some tasty damage. Oh, we've got a healer over here.
Knowledge is power.
Move that over there. Bye. Oh, fun times were had. Fun times were had. Come on, to me. Chase the balls around. Glorious. Absolutely glorious. Okay, let's stop playing sillies and continue. Right, level 12. Okay, we're nearly there. Nearly there. I think that's probably more DPS efficient, thinking about it.
Knowledge is power.
Move that over there. Oh, so good. Okay, we have a pushback. And we have a healer again. The healer thing is just so nice. Like, one of the problems Martyr had is it had loads of mobs that had regen. And that was just annoying because you kind of were in the situation where it's like, well, I don't know which one to target. This is a problem. This game is like, okay, this guy's healing. This is the one you should target. It's such a better system. It's a much better system because it doesn't frustrate you as a player because you know that there's one that you should be attacking. That's such a cool ability. That's so cool. God skills for the wins. I think just having lots of God skills is probably the way to go with this character. Nom 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 nom. So good. So good. Okay. How's it going, Zurek? How's it going? Check my bag for upgrade gear. I should probably do that every now and again. I don't do it very often at the mo. And that's, I guess, mainly because, as has been touched on earlier, the base difficulty for the game is a little bit on the low side. Hard stops being hard pretty damn quick. So I think a realistic thing for them to do would be to shift the difficulty maybe even 2 points so that hard is the new normal and, you know, very hard is the new hard, etc. I think that's probably needed, although they might balance this around endgame. And I believe that this game also has an auto difficulty tuner. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but I've heard about it. And I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, but I've heard something to do with the game automatically adjusting difficulties. I need to look into that more, though. Nice, 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 nice. But hopefully we'll get another taste of the voice acting in a moment. So I want to take another peep at that and actually have a little bit of a discussion about it. Because again, I just think that like the game is a little misunderstood and it's being viewed from this, I don't know, I don't want to say narrow mind, but this assumption that every game is trying to recreate the most accurate depiction of 40k, and like it's trying to depict 40k but from a different perspective. Not 40k, sorry, Warhammer Fantasy. I think it's trying to go for a different angle, but hey, I could be wrong. It might just be that the developers ran out of money and they got their friends and family to do the voice acting, you know. I know that won't be the case because Games Workshop have a list that you are allowed to recruit from. But I think, I reckon a few elbows probably had to be bent in order to get them to sign off a few of the bits of voice acting within this game. However, I would go so far as saying that some of the latest voice acting to come out of Games Workshop in their commercials is perhaps slightly more in line with this. It's maybe a little... Some of their latest stuff's maybe a little bit more like anime-ish at times, and a little bit more... a little bit less grimdark than it used to be. So I'm wondering if maybe they're happy to approach it from a few different angles now. Oh yeah, fantasy was never grimdark, for sure. Yeah, like that guy. God damn, I skipped it again out of habit. I'm so sorry. I'm the worst YouTuber ever. I don't even... Why are you guys watching me? Everyone else is so much better. They don't skip cutscenes when they're trying to actually talk about them. It's fine, we're going to go kill him in a second and we'll interrogate. I think as well, there is this little bit of a PC mentality that because the game is also on console, that it is worse. Like, just... The options menu is one thing I can see, fine. There is a lack, maybe, of quality of life features for the shop. They're missing on the console too, though. I don't think that's anything to do with it being on console or not. Like, the game just misses quality of life stuff. I don't know what else we can blame a console for. Graphics? Would it look better if it was developed on this engine either way, so it's going to look the same? Would they have used a different engine otherwise? I don't know, maybe. But I think the console is, like, I was kind of surprised at Arch Warhammer's video, kind of... Pretty much every negative was just kind of, oh, it's got the word console associated with it, but... Yeah, oh, yeah, that's true. No one else has the dulcet tones of Hydra. Yep. Seriously, I just need to tell people which audio equipment I use and they'll all sound dosed. And slightly sleepy. Right, let's continue to kill the... Oh, no, we'll just push you back, I guess. Looking forward to upgrading my skills a little bit more, too. Because there's some pretty funky ones for this character. Boop, 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 boop. I can't wait to play 4-player consistently as well. It was a little bit of a shame not to see a hotfix for this game on Friday. I think it would have been a nice message from the developers to be like, yeah, we see you need some changes, don't worry, we got you back. You know, it's just one of those things that day one hotfixes, even on a beta, maybe it's not worth their time. I would even probably say it's probably not worth their time, but still. Okay. You like to listen to me talk? Fair enough. There we go. Damn boxes getting in the way. I like to think that I try and bring something different to looking at a game, you know? I like to think that that's something I can offer. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, I like to think that I offer a different perspective. And my jam generally is, I don't really care how much I like or dislike a game, so much as what there is to like and what there is to dislike. That's kind of... at least how I try and view a game. Like, it's obviously... I'm trying to go through all of the Games Workshop games and give you guys insight into all of them. All the ones that come out, at least. But within that, there's games that I like less than others. But I don't think I have to like a game for you to like it. And I don't necessarily think me liking it is relevant, particularly. I don't like reviews that tell me what the reviewer likes and dislikes. I personally don't find them useful. I think they're... It's come back to this old question that we've had about Path of Exile. Like, you're a Path of Exile fan. Great. You don't like this game. Great. But I want to know if I would like it. You know? Why can someone not just tell me what's good about a game and what's bad about a game? Not what they like and what they dislike. That's two different things. Arch likes being negative. He's got that... he's got that thing going for him, you know, where people love the fact that he hates stuff. And that's fine. A lot of reviewers do that, and that's cool. Power to them. I don't really like it because I don't think you're particularly... I think if you're only negative, then you're definitely missing out on something. Like, I don't think you're being accurate or necessarily helpful. Although, if you have a reputation for only being negative and people know that, then, okay, I can maybe see that, you know, not everyone's, ooh, Cool, we got that. Now, yeah, then my items are gone. Cool. Then maybe people will take what you say with a pinch of salt, but I still think that there's... It's not necessarily quite as pro-consumer as some reviewers would like it to be. I think there are probably some cases where it's maybe kind of the opposite of that. Healing? Oh, we'll get rid of that. We'll go for blinding light. Do we have enough? Yes, we do, just about. Okay, I might have to get rid of the tornado. I'd quite like the slash. 15, I've got to wait to get that. Never mind. Yeah, we'll get rid of tornado for now and we'll get the passive equipped again. Over to here. Yeah, energy regen. But I think it's really difficult to separate what you like and what you dislike from what's good and what's bad sometimes. And that's kind of why I hope I fill a little bit of that gap sometimes. I don't think I do a perfect job because I'm definitely biased, and I know I swing a little bit more towards the positive side of games, and that's because I know I'm actively looking for things that players might like. That I know I do that because I can see myself doing it. Like the fact that voice acting within this game, for example, I know that I'm actually sat there thinking, okay, people don't like it. Do I dislike it, and why might someone like it? And
Fortune is with us, young prince.
let's skip all this. And I would hope, though, it's not just me, and I hope that there is a shred of truth behind it, but I'd need to ask their developers, is this just your thing? But I think given their previous games are also a similar voice acting style, I'm pretty sure that I'm onto something there. Yeah, that's one thing for sure. You need different opinions when you're getting reviews from products, definitely. I think where there is a little bit of a void for Warhammer games is basically what Total Biscuit did, which he had a thorough look through a game, and I think he, although very critical of many things, was still provided praise where it was maybe difficult to praise at times. Maybe not all of his reviews. I've probably seen a total of 20 to 30. But there were times where I thought he was playing a game that did not look particularly good, but he was still like, you know what, this is actually a bit of fun. And that was nice to see, rather than him just saying, oh, this is, garbage and this is trash. Like, a rule of thumb for me is if a review says the words boring, dull, and emphasizes this emotive language, me personally, I don't really like it so much, because it's not telling me what the thing is, it's telling me how the person reacts to what the thing is, if that makes any sense, And I don't really care how they're reacting to it, I just want to know what the thing is. I mean, I think it's fair to say, well, this game lacks this, that, and this, so players are likely to get bored far quicker. Okay, fine. That's okay, but to say from a reviewer's point of view, if you're in a Steam forum, you can say whatever the hell you want, but if a reviewer says, I find this game boring, that doesn't help me make a decision. Okay, you think the game... Well, the problem is some people, that's all they need to hear from their favourite reviewer, and they won't even look at the game anymore, but I don't think that's particularly good. Having all sorts of pathing problems there. I don't think it's particularly helpful.
Knowledge is power.
Oh, that spike damage. Ah! God damn that ability. That ability sucks. That's why I haven't had pathing issues for a long time, because I haven't been using that ability. There we go, there we go. But yes, in a nutshell, I don't really want to know how someone is reacting to a game. I just want to know what's in the game, what it does well, what it does badly, how it makes them feel. I don't really care. Ah, beautiful.
Knowledge is power.
Oh. Eek! Will you stop attacking the wall and move? You lemon. There we go. Oh, glorious. Glorious.
Knowledge is power.
Nice. Nice, nice. I'm having all sorts of pathing issues. Oh, that's the AoE attack. Help, 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 help. That hurts a lot if you get stuck in that.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, that's a hit. That's a hit. Oh, oh, one more tickle, one more tickle. There we go. There we go. Again, though, I would say I am in the minority when it comes to game reviews. I know most people just like to hear someone moan about a game for half an hour. Like, that's the stuff on YouTube that gets the clicks, you know? Like, if anyone wants to make a YouTube channel here, just follow Games Workshop games and moan about how bad they are for half an hour. You will do great. You will do absolutely great. Oh, Idris, I'm sorry I missed your question previous, but thank you so much for the donation. I just remembered that you asked. Yes, Mordheim was actually the first ever game that I covered on this channel. It was the first ever game about 2 years ago that I covered, and I loved it. I thought it was a really cool game. I think many people would look at that game and say it was a bad game. I loved it. I thought it was great. It was so flawed in many ways, but I still loved it. That's a perfect game to emphasize how something can be missing so much and yet be a great, fun experience to have, you know? Like, it missed a way to really get replay value out of the game because, well, okay, it had this really punishing campaign system, but it wasn't really a great campaign system, and more importantly, AI was totally abusable, and it was just sheer RNG to determine if you had the opportunity to abuse it or not. And like there were all sorts of things. We've got some problems here. I know, we're okay. More fireballs, that's what we need. But at the same time, despite the fact of all the stuff it was missing, I loved it. I thought it was a great game. Even though it was kind of bad. Like how good something is and how much fun you have playing it are sometimes, like, they're two different worlds. Two different worlds. But thank you for the donation, my friend. That's really appreciated of you. That's really appreciated. Yeah. English is hard today. English is hard. Stargate Dragon saying he understands what funny stuff, Tommy D? What's funny stuff? I've lost me. Goddamn this delay. Still room for improvement on this game. Definitely. Definitely. I mean, the stuff I would say that needs the most work in this game, fortunately, is the small stuff. And you might say, oh, well, inventory map. I mean small from, like, a technical perspective. Because I think the core gameplay, the animations, the textures, the characters, the abilities, the balance, I think all of that is fine. I think we're looking at inventory management and quality of life buttons. You know, we're not asking for them to make a new game here. We're not asking for that much, really. Like, Inquisitor Martyr was able to add these things within a couple of months. If Martyr can do it in a couple of months, these guys can do it in 3 months. You know, it's doable. And that's why I have hope. And, like, the beta's there for people to moan. You know, moan about the menu, moan about the UI. That's fine. That's fine. We're missing so many buttons that, yes, have a good moan, and if it's not there by launch, get yourself a refund. Go for it. But that's what betas are there for. Oh, cool. I guess we'll wander down here, because I think that's where this is. Do we have a lever down here? Excuse me. There we go. Perfect. I might wander up north just to see what's up there. Okay, you understand what I mean? You will not read movie or book reviews because you don't want anything to taint how you form your own opinions. Well, that's another aspect to it. Yeah, games are a bigger investment than books. It's hard to find a trusted reviewer, but that's what's so great about YouTube is you can just find a reviewer that maybe you don't always agree with them, but you respect where they're coming from and you know how to interpret their review. I think that's kind of where it's okay to be the reviewer that just says bad things, because if people know how to interpret that, it's okay. Oh. Oh, this is bad things. Hang on, I should be firing them this way. I'm having some issues with buttons. There we go. Oh, that angle though. I should never be a snooker player. Should never be a snooker player. Okay, is my one ability? No. Can't do that yet. There we go. Okay. Apologies for the potato there. I basically just forgot which button did what for quite a long time. Yeah. Yeah, I think some people expected a lot of these issues in beta. I was expecting multiplayer to not be working. Honestly. I was... oh, whoa! Bicycle of Faith raiding me 7 minutes ago. Dude, thank you so much. Hang on. Bicycle of... Let me just get my head over and see this chat properly. DTH? Well, thank you very much for the raid, my friend. Thank you for dropping a few views in. That's really appreciated. And I can see... What's up, June? What's up, Bicycle? Thank you very much. Apologies. Restream is not very good at informing me when I've been raided. So if ever I'm being raided or I've been sent views, I'm sorry if it takes me like an extra few minutes to respond. My bad there. My bad there. I need like Restream to or Steam Labs to give me a notification like deling up on the screen. That would be a thing. Oh, I'll save Blood Rage for... Oh no, I've killed the boss already, haven't I? Oh god, the Blood Rage ability is so pants for this character as well. It's sort of like... It's just... Da, 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 doing the... Da, 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 da. Oh, they bounce off of walls as well. That's kind of cool. Da-ding, 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 da-ding. Yo! My abilities.
Knowledge is power.
Bye. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. This combat is so good. I just love how many enemies there are, how much stuff there is to kill and dodge and move and... Like, if this was Diablo right now, this would just be a race to see if I could do more damage than I take from these mobs. There would be no kiting or movement or dodging, unless it's an elite pack, in which case, okay, I might have to dodge an ability, but even then, it's pretty much just kill, 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 burn, 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 burn. There we go. Glorious. Glorious, glorious. Off we go. Thank you for the follows as well, my friends. Welcome to the crew. Welcome to the party. Right, you expecting a bunch of crashes? Yeah, crash-wise, I think the game's pretty stable. It's really just multiplayer issues, and network code for multiplayer, I mean, I've never seen it work on a beta, so it's kind of my expectations. It's a shame, though. It's a shame that the cutscenes... Basically, the network code doesn't really seem to be the issue. It's a problem with cutscenes and having multiple people in the party that it kind of doesn't load everyone back in properly to the same instance. But whatever issue that is, once that's fixed, it looks like it'll be okay.
Knowledge is power.
Such cool ability. Phantom Blade, let's go. Okay, bring up skill, Phantom Blade. Do that on the left click, because that is a whopping... That's a huge amount of damage, 765. That's what life's all about. And, yeah, we've got all those empty, so we'll rock on with a melee mage now. Okay, let's roll. Victor Van had good dodge and kite. Oh, you know, I never actually played that game. Okay. Folks have a big problem with nostalgia, you say. No game will ever make you feel like D1. Yeah, that's a problem. Expecting a game that will make you feel like a previous game is an issue because, like, not only are you going to be biased because, well, human memory is like, okay, I remember the fact I enjoyed the game, so therefore I'm going to make the game out in my head to be better than it was. Like, most people choose not to remember the moments in Diablo where they were utterly frustrated at not getting... Oh, hi. Do you get more gems when you use an ultimate? Is that a thing? Is that an actual thing? I didn't know that as a mechanic. But that, okay, that's one aspect of a sort of like human bias that will crop up. But then you've also got, like, you were younger, okay? Like, when I was playing the N64, I was basically a different person back then. My expectations, what I enjoyed, what I didn't enjoy was different. I like to think I'm the same person. I'm not going to get all philosophical on you now, but 15 years changes someone quite a lot. There's so much. Bloodlust kills drop fragments. God damn it.
Behold, brothers and sisters, the Eye of Argoth.
Okay.
Lord Nurgle is Asavar Kul is dead, but soon a new Chaos Lord will rise to take his place. All hail the Lord of Pestilence!
Right, now here we are again, guys. Hopefully this guy's got more voice lines so he doesn't make me look stupid like the other guys. I can't help but think that this game wants you to feel like it's some people having fun pretending to be a character. Like, this does not look and feel like a Chaos villain, you know? It doesn't sound like one, sorry. And therefore it doesn't feel like it, but it seems like it's done in a very novice way, because it's done by someone that sounds like they're about 20 years old, and no, probably even younger than that. They've got a very sort of light voice. There's not a lot of resonance. It's quite high on treble. You know, it doesn't sound like we would imagine it. However, I think it sounds like if you were down the pub and you asked your mate to have a go at being a chaos bloke. Say, oi, Steve, try and give me a worshipper of Nurgle impression. I think this is what you would get. And he's not got any more bloody voice lines. Seriously, Nurgle, you can just sit and swivel because you're making me look stupid. But to me, that's why I don't mind it, because I feel like it's just a bit silly and fun. It's got a silliness to it, and I think that's what it is. It's that some folk will just not be happy with an element of silly in a fantasy game, despite the fact that Warhammer is just not as grimdark. You know, there's a lot less edgelord in this than there will be within Warhammer 40k. Within 40k, like, it's 100% edgelord. It's all about that. This is just very different.
The cult is no more, High Lord Master. The fools were no match for the might of the Azure.
And what of Kessler himself?
He is...
Okay, we'll skip all that. Ta-da! I'll take the rewards, thank you very much. I need to use my Bloodlust more often because I've been missing out on a lot of skill tree upgrades, it would seem. Boop. And we'll go for... So how much energy do we have? 107? 102? I've just lost 5. I've just lost 5. Plus 95% maximum energy. Right, okay, so that actually doesn't increase your maximum energy by 195%. It brings you to 95% maximum energy. Right, well, that makes sense, I guess, but still, that's a little bit weird that the plus 10% armor isn't, like, then turning me to 10% of the armor that I did have. Could we please rework that voice acting? The voice isn't up to par as a prologue narrator voice. But that's the thing, is I don't think it wants to be. I don't think the aim of the developers is to make it sound like that. But I do think you're right that there is a bit of a clash between the two. And that's probably where... Oh, that guy was just kind of stood there. Well, that was interesting. So I say, I need to kind of, like, ask the developers on this, like, is this intentional? Like, what were you going for here? But in a sense, it doesn't really matter what they're going for. All that really matters is kind of what we think. Because, you know, it's kind of like a form of art. It doesn't matter what the artist wants you to see. It's just what you see that actually makes a goddamn difference. But I don't know. I don't know if it's a problem. I don't know if it is subpar, rather. Because I kind of like it. But it is bad, you know? What I'm trying to decide in my head is if it's intentionally bad or not. And I don't know. I have no way of knowing. Extra little bits and bobs. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Level 15, and... Oh, I think we're actually near the end. Blah, 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 blah. Over to there. We're going to go melee tech list. Let's go. Level 15. Hype. Okay. Main quest. Let's do it. Chaosbane is not very deep story-based RPG. Doesn't need perfect VO. Again, that's the thing. I don't think they're even aiming for perfect. I don't think they're going for anything like that at all. I think they've intentionally gone for something that's a little bit slapstick and fun. Even the initial narrator, I would say, it's a little bit like listening to an 80s cartoon. I don't know if anyone else would agree with me, but that's where I think dipping into that Monty Python again is kind of like a good way to describe the sense of humour that I think is perhaps operating behind this. And that's where I think playing their previous games gives you a little bit of an insight into this this developer and how the sort of voice actors they choose when not doing Games Workshop. But I'm not 100% sure. It might be just the best they could get. Maybe. It's possible. Maybe it was just because they were cheap. They were like, you know what, that'll do. 1, 2. I think the third pushes back, if I remember.
Knowledge is power.
Nice. 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 Okay, let's go. But yeah, I think in a sense Diablo 3 actually tried to go for some fairly slapstick style voice acting as well. Like the Barbarian, that was like a little bit over the top. And I think it sort of suited the art style to a degree.
Knowledge is power.
And that's where I think it's difficult. Like, if you've gone for an intentionally stylized voice actor, like, is it even bad anymore? Is it good or bad? Like, I guess you could use objective measures to say, well, this is bad acting. I guess. I don't know. All I'm saying is I think it's a little bit more complicated than good and bad, because I'm pretty sure the direction of this is something more complex. But I don't know. Oh, half of me is hoping it's that. The other half's thinking, well, maybe it is just the fact that they couldn't really afford anyone decent, so that's the best they could do. But again, I think playing the previous title gives you a little bit of a clue that it's something more complex.
Knowledge is power.
Nice. I love that ability. Oh, hey. How's it going? I need to upgrade that ability so it does a pushback here.
Knowledge is power.
I think we need to pull back for a second. Yo! How's this compared to... Yo, what's up, bud? Long time no see. Long time no see. Hope you're doing good. Mr. Eisen, the game is very different to Martyr. I would say the game is exceeding Martyr. It has surpassed Martyr in almost every way, aside from textures. I think that is the one thing that Martyr can claim over this, is textures. And maybe some of the effects, I think, within Martyr. But the gameplay within this is just so much more solid. Basically, if anyone's been following my Martyr stuff for a long time, I reckon within the first month of the game being out, I made a couple videos saying if this game really needs enemies with abilities that are kind of like randomly generated, or it needs combat to be somewhat less predictable. because enemies were always the same and the character playstyle was always the same. Nothing the enemies ever did changed that. You didn't have to react to what was going on, and later they introduced a few ground effects, and that did a little bit, but it was nowhere near enough, and most of the time you didn't have to dodge them. That was a problem for Martyr, and still is. That and the character abilities didn't feel particularly unique. Combat, as a result of those abilities, was just not particularly interactive. You just sat there, and if you were ranged, you kited. If you were melee, you just raced to kill stuff as fast as possible. This game has like nailed a bunch of the fundamentals really well. And Martyr is working on a patch at the moment. They are working on some big changes that we're going to find out about soon, but I think the sticking with the traditional for this game has done them really well. I think they've done a good job of just doing what needs... What's basically the basics of an ARPG, but I would say in many ways even a lot of current ARPG titles haven't done well for a long time. However, I don't think everyone would like this game. Depends what type of ARPG you want. And what type of game you like. If you want a social experience, I think this game is miles ahead of many others. Mainly because I think the boss fights are just really on point, and you're going to see one pretty soon. If you want a good inkling as to what's good about this game, hold fire. Ah, we've got an upgrade here. Nice. That's pretty sweet. That's high damage. No. I said, I think an arcade vibe is the best way to describe how I feel about this game as a whole. My video that I published a couple of days ago on this game, I think is my best... It's a good short summary. The previous stream I did as well, the 2-hour video, is also, I think, a pretty decent summary of this game.
Knowledge is power.
Love that. Love that ability. Hey, guys, how's it going? Eek. Eek! Please stop doing those abilities, they're scary. Interrupts for the win. Interrupts for the win. Oh no, you pushed me into it. That's absolutely amazing. Okay, we're going to do that there. We're going to push you back. Oh, on cooldown. I think there is room for some pretty skillful combat in this as well. If you get sort of to a point where you master some of these buttons, unlike me, I think there's definitely room to be pretty creative. I had no idea the way up on that bit until I looked at the mini-map. Okay, back to the thing. You think Chaos looks awesome? Not a complete game yet, but promising. Oh, absolutely, Matthias. Like, this is a tiny slice of a game. Absolutely. Well, this... I'm a little concerned that this is one of the 4 acts, because it takes me about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get through it. And we're nearly at the end of the first chapter here. So, you know, it's not particularly long. It's not particularly long. Yeah. Yeah, I know, Doc. Tentacles, tentacles, tentacles. There's only so many tentacles a man can cope with in life. I'll equip some new stuff. Will the loot be as complex? I'm not really sure. Maybe. Maybe. The problem is we're missing the biggest thing, and that is this system, where you can put 6 regular gems, 1 god gem, and 4 triangle gems into a weapon, and you can fuse it all together and make it do stuff. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that does. I don't know how good it will be. I don't know what effects it will put on the weapon. No one does. But we really need to see, because that's going to be really, really important for us to decide whether or not this actually has a very good item system and is really, really great, or whether it's actually just a bit meh. And it could be any one of those or anywhere in between. Aha. Extra gems, don't mind if I do. Do a little bit of this. A little bit of that. Oh, wrong button. I think I clicked one of those twice. Yep. And there we go. Right. So I'll get some more skills while we're here. So move over on our skill tree. We're heading over this way. Boop. So we got our 1% extra health. Booyah. And we're working toward, and it's always this orange one that I'm short on. Always. God damn it. I'm looking forward to seeing the custom mission generator as well. I think that's going to be funky. Right, we'll give that a go. Have I seen the speed used to breach the ground? I don't know, what's that in reference to? Oh, the tentacles. Okay. Definitely feel sick after the tentacles. That's fair. That's fair. Can confirm this is the full first chapter. Not sure if that means entire Act 1. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're killing the Great Unclean One, you know? Lobster, like, and after you've killed it, they say that you're heading to the next area. So this is a quarter of the... would appear to be a quarter of the game. Because it's basically the game is divided into 4. That's kind of what we've been told. That it features the 4 Chaos Gods as factions. And you kill the Great Unclean One, and then the story is, okay, now we're going to Prague. And Prague is where Slanesh is. So that's basically the end of Nurgle. There we go. Trying to learn all these damn buttons. I've got too many. Let's get rid of a button here. What does more damage actually out of my sword than that? So if I look at this, 548, 930. And I know what I'm using. 4 points available? Ah, that's fine. Don't need more points. I need less buttons. Well, that was a good use of that ability, wasn't it? So slow. So I think the sword as well has a pushback on it, which is kind of cool. Knowledge is power. There we go. Any good loot? No. No. In a word, no. Okay. Nurglings can apparently form a greater version of themselves. Yes. Yes, Nurglings can become a better version of themselves by stacking up with each other in some form of sort of Olympic gymnastic maneuver to become the ultimate Nurgling. It's pretty good, to be fair. It's pretty good. I love it. Yo, Moonlit Fairy, how's it going? Welcome back. Welcome back. We'll be back on the old Battlefleet Gothic tomorrow, most likely, but there's one of them. Oh, we killed it by accident. We squished it. Feels bad, man. I would say I'm not playing particularly fluid right now. Like, if the gameplay it's looking a little bit clunky, quite a lot of that is me just pressing the wrong buttons. Every time I play this through, I end up with buttons on different keys, and it really throws me. Let's do some bouncing over here. There we go. That'll sort them out. We'll wander this way. Just when I get used to having a few of the different abilities, I go ahead and change them all. And they all end up on different buttons. It's an ideal way to confuse someone that's easily confused. Yeah, I'm not expecting a long campaign here. And I think that could potentially be one of the pitfalls of the game. Like, one of the big problems is if I can complete this even on an easy difficulty in... let's say 4 hours. Is that a bad thing? Maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, I would say though, like, just doing more of this is not necessarily going to make the game better, you know? I think the main thing that will help the game is features like the dungeon customizer, and I don't know what really we need to call that, but eek. Okay, we've got that ability up. Oh, whoa. There we go. Right, we're good. Knowledge is power. I love the spacebar. Spacebar's so good. Oh, the stun wasn't quite there. Oh, goodbye. Oh, that was glorious. That was glorious. Get a new tunic. Get some cool things. Right, head over to the boss. Send some fireballs out. So it's all about fireballs. Yeah, so I don't think lengthening the campaign is necessarily going to make the game much better, because I think either way, dragging out the story by putting more of these missions between it's not really improving the game. I think all that is dragging out the game. So what I would prefer to see is more options to customize once you're done.
Lord of plagues, hear me. Long have I worshipped you. Great are the deeds I have done in your name. I have performed your darkest rites. I have sacrificed the flesh of innocents in your name.
That's a fair point from Justin. It's possible that the acts may be different lengths. It's possible that the final one might be a lot longer, a lot more complicated. That's fair. Another comment from Pixel. Going to wait till the game's $20. I think that's fair if you prefer to pick up games when they're on offer. My only hesitation with that is that this is likely going to be a heavily social game, and to miss out on that side, I think you're missing out on potentially the best part of the game. How long it will take to go on that offer, I don't know. No idea. Like, their previous titles have gone on offer after about 6 months. So it will probably be on a 10 or 15% offer well before that, but 50% off, I'm not sure. It happens, but not so much with stuff which is sort of Games Workshop franchise. So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't give in to that like heavy discounting strategy, just because the other Games Workshop games typically don't.
Your pleas will have
At least not within the first few months. But for example, this boss, which is basically the highlight of the beta, the best thing hands down, it's amazing, is something that me personally I'm looking forward to doing with friends. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible to do with friends. And if I were to miss out on that, and by the time I play it, no one I know is playing it, that would be unfortunate. Obviously, if you're not a social gamer, this isn't a variable for you to consider. You forget I said anything, but...
Knowledge is power!
Oh. Eek! Right. Keep chopping this, keep chopping this.
Knowledge is power!
But I think for others, like, if you and your friends are going to buy it later in time, that's cool. But this is one of the reasons oh dear, I'll be picking up the game I'll be picking up the game straight away either way, because I'm a YouTuber. That's kind of like, you can't make a YouTube channel picking up stuff after it's gone quiet. Like, that's the worst way to run a YouTube channel. But I think you might get the best of the game in that sense. Like, the same for Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. Like, if you were in it for the multiplayer, if you buy it like 3 months after launch, you've probably missed the best time, because the game's already quiet now. The queue times have gotten a bit long. Hopefully they can claw it back, but there's a danger of buying it too late, at least. But hey, like, it's cool to buy games when they're on offer. I get that. I picked up lots of games on offer and not got them when they first came out, because sometimes $40 or $50 is just a bit too much.
Knowledge is power!
I would say one thing regarding this game's comparison to Grim Dawn, which I see quite a lot. Like, Grim Dawn is, and was, largely made for the first 3 years by 2 people, working on their own, full-time, with help from friends who were working for free. Quite a few friends apparently all chipped in. And then eventually they did a Kickstarter without a publisher. They just did a Kickstarter to get about £500,000 to £600,000 pounds worth of investment to finish it and recruit the staff they needed. They didn't have an office space. There's a lot of things that make that game very different to compare to this. So to say that Grim Dawn's $20, so should this. I think that's kind of seeing it just from the side of the consumer. I wouldn't expect this to be $20. Although I do think it's fair to point out that there's quite a few ARPGs that are $20. So, you know, why is this one so much more? Well, I think the fact that it's Games Workshop IP is one reason. Like, Games Workshop games are more expensive, and I wonder in a sense if there's a little bit of a hesitancy to be that company that undercuts all the others in a genre that doesn't typically do cheap games. I don't know how much Games Workshop actually charge to use their IP either. No, I don't think anyone actually does. I've tried looking into it. The developers of games won't even tell me. But I think that's a variable. I don't know if it's 10%. I don't know if it's 30%. I have no idea. It might be a one-off fee. I don't know. All I'm trying to say, though, is it's complicated. I don't necessarily think that it is amazing value for money, but I've been buying games that have cost me £45–50 for my entire life, so and that's primarily because I've been a console player, so I don't feel uncomfortable putting £40 on a game. But, you know, there are cheaper games out there that are bigger. That's for sure. Oh god. I'm gonna die here. I'm gonna die here. Oh god. I'm getting blocked. Help.
Knowledge is power.
Eek. Eek. Oh god. Okay. No, I thought that was going to happen. Wasn't paying attention. I should probably go for a range build, but I'll try this again. I would certainly say that the soldier's damage is a lot higher. A lot higher. Because I just mauled through this. Yeah, Martyr took a long time to go on sale. Yeah, Hunt Showdown worth $20, absolutely.
Knowledge is power.
Is that high damage? I think the soldier has so many ways to increase his DPS that it's just very, very different playing that character to this. Because you can boost your own DPS by like 80%.
Knowledge is power.
Does that still damage him? Well, it seems to, but... I think I might change his skills after this one. I'm not particularly happy with the skill composition, although I think it's primarily my fault. Oh, that does set him on fire too, which is kind of cool. Let me at him. Let me at him.
Knowledge is power.
That's a nice chunk of damage too. There we go. There we go. Yeah, you give that sort of lick. Phase 1 down. I just can't wait to do this with 4 people. I think it's going to be an absolute blast.
Knowledge is power.
Whoop. Maybe I need to set him on fire intermittently too. Like, maybe that's more optimum in terms of DPS. Because I don't think my sword ability actually sets him on fire.
Knowledge
No! We should stop trying to attack him, really. Oof. Uh-oh. We'll kill that boulder. And... oh, it didn't load. It didn't load.
Knowledge is is power.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to go back here. Get some health back in a moment. Okay. Oh, that damage, though. It's actually not too shabby, is it?
Knowledge is power.
Oh. I think we'll use some fireballs in the middle. That'll do nicely. That'll do nicely. Nearly on phase 3.
Knowledge is power.
No, I didn't time it well again. Oh, I've done it again, guys. I'm sorry, I've let you down. That's that pillar destroyed. That's fine now.
Knowledge is power.
There we go. Nurglings, that's the pillar.
Knowledge is power.
That's nice. Hard times, hard times.
Knowledge is
Oh,
power.
does that still damage him? No. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, no. Oh, God. That feeling when you forget the rotation, even though you're doing a video guide on it.
Knowledge is power.
Okay.
Knowledge is power.
Uh-oh. 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 I need to not destroy that pillar, otherwise I'm dead. Okay, we're alive. We're alive. This is okay.
Knowledge is power.
We're alive. We're alive. We're okay.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, that'll do. I think that might even be worth it. Oh, God. Glorious. Why won't you die, damn it?
Knowledge is power.
No, no. How dare you cast that ability? Come on, Hydra, stop sucking. Trying to get that extra tiny little bit of DPS in. Yay! Finally, that was rubbish from me, but there you go. It's the best part of the game, this boss fight. It's the best goddamn part of the game. I think the Empire Soldier is my favourite class, but I like the mechanic of this. GG's, GG's. That's the first time I've done that with this skill combination,
I sensed the great.
and it was a lot harder than previous. It was a lot harder than before. I've done it with about 3 or 4 different skill combos for Techless, and the lack of AoE damage was not particularly fun. But yeah, that wasn't too bad. I think it was more than doable. I just forgot the rotation on a couple of occasions, and that got me in a little bit of trouble. But hey, it's all good. So guys, going to be wrapping up the stream in a little bit, but of course we're going to check out our glorious loot and booty first. Glorious new stuff. I think more loot skins would help this game as well, actually. More visual variety, and of course there will be come launch, I'd be sure of that. Yeah, not wanting to die is the reason people worship Nurgle. It's not wanting to face one's own mortality. That's the main attraction. But yeah, absolutely amazing boss fight. The Great Unclean one is wicked, and I can't really say that I could ask for anything more from a boss fight for a Great Unclean one. I think that is just hands down the best part of the game. Soldier has enough AoE, if you know what. Yeah. The soldier has loads of AoE. Absolutely. I think the soldier is a lot stronger. The elf does have more AoE damage. It's just the fact that it's ranged. The thing that the soldier has, if I just very quickly load in, and I'll show you why I think the build is so good. Yo, Mojo, thank you very much. Buy myself a drink for my girlfriend's birthday. I will do. 2 hours on the dot, guys. 2 hours on the dot. Thank you very much, Mojo, man. That's really appreciated. If we just change hero and we go to level 16 Volon. Just jump in here for a second and show you. Yeah, the boss fight is kind of tough. You need to learn the rotation. You need to be paying attention. I wasn't paying attention in that, and hence it was a lot more stressful. So this character has a few things. The skills that I think are really good. Actually, this isn't the right one. We need the level 15 Volon. He's the one that I've recently played through with. One more time. Change hero. Level 15 Volon. Any other Volons? Yep, just those for now. Okay. Yeah, Blessing of Sigmar and the Ring AoE is... Yeah, there's some really good stuff. So what makes this guy amazing... The Cutting Edge Superior is just a basic slash ability that does loads of damage. It's really nice. It's good. Whirling Slash, AoE slash around you. I personally don't think this is always needed if you've got Cutting Superior. Shield Charge, huge damage. Absolutely huge damage, and it's a dash. And then Break Through the Ranks, which is a charge ability, which you can just use to do AoE damage. Like, you can do this in a quick circle around your character. You A, push everything back, and B, damage it. It's not loads, 310, but it's a fair bit. And then you just bash it once or twice. And then you've got your Banner of the Empire, and of course, I've gone for Shield Kick here, which shouldn't actually be there. By the looks of it, I've changed this a little bit, because I did have... oh! My skills seem to have been reset. So the skill that I went for was Sigmar's Blessing here, which gives you 20% damage, 20% block chance, energy regen. You combine that with the Banner of the Empire, and that just gives you some amazing damage output. It's really good. This is much better than Warhammer Quest 2. I don't think there's any comparison, Peter. Like, Warhammer Quest 2 seemed okay as a mobile game, and if you wanted something to have a little bash around with... Yeah, it's cool. It's fine, but you know it is what it is. It's a mobile game on a PC. You know, that's fine. That's fine if you like that. This is something different. This is something different, and yes, I think this game is pretty incredible. Now, have yourself a great day, guys. I'm going to be seeing you next time. I will be streaming a little bit more tomorrow. Once again, thanks to Eisen, thanks to Mojo, and we had one more donation in there as well. I need to give you guys a shout out. Ear Juice as well, thank you very much, and Bicycle for the raid. Guys, it's been wonderful, it's been magical. Thank you for stopping on by. The video will be available tomorrow. If you missed any of the stream, if you just want to see a bit of the playthrough, hear a bit of the natter, and I'm going to get to work on, I think, a comprehensive review of this game. Maybe we'll save that for the next beta. We'll see. Have yourself a great day, guys. See you next time.